Staying up. I'm wilding out. I'm leaning in.
The 520 HS comes in a usual box, colorful blue colored box. So you have a lot of information out there. First your marketing informations, and then what's in the box and stuff that we're gonna show you. Anyway, it's not very thick cardboard box, but good enough. So that's the camera out there. You get a free 8GB card out here, and also a limited period of a free USB cable. When it's supposed to come by default in the box, no, but this guy by default does not have it. Anyway, so you get it for free for limited period. Canon says, let's say how far the limited period extends. So your USB cable, and then your warranty card, and then the quick start guide. And then once you go further in, you would have the camera out here. We'll come back to that later. So you have your wall charger, then you have the strap. Oh no, that's your power cord, and then your 1060 mAh battery, you see, and B6LH, and then you have your strap. That's the strap. And then now can we have the 8GB card? So you have Alexa 8GB card, and surprise, it's a class 10 card. Good. And then finally we have the body out here. See, it's a beautiful body, very compact, all plastic. The SX520 HS, and it's screaming 84x zoom plus. It actually feels plastic. There, see the noise out here. Anyway, so let's take a look at some of the controls and buttons out here. So first up is the front. So you have this rubber on the front, great hold. And then you have the 42x IS optical image stabilization lens, Canon's own lens. You have a focal range from 4.3 till 180.6 mm, which in 35 mm equivalent would be between 24 to 1008 mm. And then your aperture range 3.4 at 24 mm is quite slow, but 6 at 1000 mm is perfect. It's really cool. Then you have your autofocus assist lamp out there. This side you have your focus framing buttons, and that's it really on the front side. On top you have the flash, and which is can be taken out manually, so there is no button which just pops the flash out. Good thing, because that reduces or that nullifies that slightest amount of mechanical movement, thereby increasing the battery, which is already so small. Then you have your mics out there, the shutter release button, the zoom lever, then your control dial out here, the power button, and then your shooting mode dial that has a lot of modes. Really like this. You have P, the program mode, aperture, shutter priority, aperture priority, full manual mode, live mode, auto, full auto, and then there's some scene modes, and then video modes and whatnot, creative auto mode and stuff. Yeah, and then your eyelets for your lanyard. Yeah, that's where this is styled, sticker. Anyway, so on the back side you have the 3-inch LCD. It's a TFT LCD screen, 641K dot non-touchscreen, playback button, and some of your usual buttons, the drive mode and menu button and stuff, video recording button, and then your exposure compensation scale, which also act as a delete button in playback mode. On this side you have only 2 holes, your AV out or data out, and then full size HDMI out, but they do not give an HDMI cable. And then you have speaker on this side. Below, tripod mount, and then the battery and full size SD card compartment. So that's about it. That's about the control and button layout. They're very easy to read, very good, ergonomically very nice, but no customizable buttons anywhere. Now let's switch on and show you operating of some buttons and the user interface. So that's how the zoom goes out. That's the max. So even at 42x the camera is actually not very big, again good thing. And then you can see here how the optics move there, see, beautiful. And I'll show you the display and the user interface. So that's the display. I have the grids on, so you see some of the information, important information out there, and that's your playback mode. I have taken out all my review images anyway. So that's your drive mode, single shooting and continuous shooting. Let's keep it in single shooting for now. Your functions, and there is here some of the options. So I'm in the P mode. In P mode you'll have less option. Let's say if I go to full manual, you'll have actually more options, like for example, let's say this mic colors, and you can have the metering, the evaluative and center weighted and spot metering, 3 metering, no partial, and then white balance, and then there's your drive self timer, and then still image aspect ratio, yeah, and then your JPEG size. Note that this guy does not record at RAW, as in shoot at RAW, or record still images at RAW. So the maximum size you get is JPEG large, yeah. And then you also have compression. So here you can have super fine or fine, super fine again, super fine combining with the JPEG. Large is the max image size you can get. The movie quality, full HD of course, and then HD and VGA. So that's about the user interface, and the menu is very you can see easy to read, intuitive. You have autofocus face and tracking or center. Once you have it in center, you have frame size, normal or small, digital zoom. I generally switch it off, your wish. Servo autofocus is on. Servo autofocus is good, where the camera automatically detects whether your subject is still or it's moving. So if it's still, then the camera takes that particular autofocus mode, and the moment the subject starts moving, it will switch to continuous autofocus. For that, this one is important: autofocus, assist beam, safety, MF, eye contrast, and some of the other stuffs. And then you have some system informations, lens retraction, you can say 0 second or 1 minute. Eco mode, I would suggest you keep this on generally, because anyway it takes pretty less number of images and videos, but in eco mode the number would slightly increase, yeah. So let's hear the shutter sound. Very quiet. And in drive mode, very pleasant shutter sound, yeah. Let's start the performance section with the autofocus performance. It's always going to be a little tricky with such a long zoom camera. While wide, locking the autofocus is much easier than when you're at the tele end. The autofocus overall is quite sharp if you can lock focus right, that is. The OIS. The OIS is brilliant under enough light. I never used the camera on tripod, but still got some brilliantly sharp images. At 42x it gets increasingly difficult, and it's highly recommended that you use a tripod nonetheless. This is even more important under low light. Even after the very good focus framing feature, I could not stabilize the images handheld. But then I smoke, you know what I mean? The dynamic range of the SX520 HS is below average. It's partly to do with the very small sensor and partly to the sensor technology Canon uses, which is quite old actually. See the section where we tried to recover the shadow and the highlight, and it totally screwed up the image. Actually it is worse than even the iPhone 6 Plus and someone like the Lumia 1020 we tested. Canon needs to work on this seriously. The saturation and hue are natural and pleasant. It does not overdo the colors at any palette. You definitely get noise when zoomed into 100% even under enough light, but that's usual for such a small sensor. Contrasting areas get more noise due to the low dynamic range combined with the noise reduction. Images are perfectly fine till ISO 400. ISO 800 is where you start noticing noise that you do not need to put effort to notice. 1600 and 3200 are almost unusable except where you need to capture the info, not the art. So we suggest try not to exceed ISO 800. The 42x lens is sharpest at the wide end with about f/8 till 10, that aperture. Then the sharpness continuously decreases. Another positive point of the camera is the distortion. The lens has almost nil barrel distortion and that slightest amount of keystoning that your client will never notice. This continues even at the 21x mark, although the keystoning is now noticeable. The lens manages to check pincushion even at 42x to almost nil. Bravo! No problem with vignetting. There is very significant chromatic aberration at the widest end, that is about 4 mm. We next checked at about 22 mm and the chromatic aberration was equally prominent. It starts to reduce starting just above 100 mm to about 160 mm, beyond which again it starts increasing and you will see significant chromatic aberration, let's say at the most tele end. The video performance, well, are average. It's more than average really. Videos are slightly softer as we can expect from such a mass camera quality. It however records very smooth motion with fast enough autofocus lock when you zoom in and out at a decent pace, but not very fast. No highlight clipping and almost insignificant rolling shutter problem. The battery life is rather poor, with us getting about 175 stills with 30 minutes of highest quality video. You would want to carry extra batteries for sure. So then, now should you get the SX520 HS? We would definitely recommend this camera if you love the 510 HS, if you really need a budget compact camera with the maximum possible reach. There are other cameras in the market like 50x zooms and 60x zoom, but none of those as compact as this 42x zoom Canon camera. So if you're looking for a compact camera, it's quite lightweight as well, plus within budget, then this camera is the way to go. If you like this video, please hit the like button, ask anything related to this camera and we'll try to answer them all, and please subscribe to our channel for more such awesome content in future. Thank you.